Yeah, I remember Lenny McLean, when he was talking to the guy who done the film Box On, and he was interviewing Lenny, and he was just talking about unlicensed fights, and Lenny was saying, well, that Frankie Warren has made it more original now, so people don't bite and nut and kick them. He said it's completely different now. It's about boxing, and no, it wasn't. No, it wasn't. No, never. It wasn't unlicensed fighting. There were some good fights. I've seen some good fights. I have seen people get nutted all around the ring. Lots of times I've seen that happen. I've seen people get kicked around the rings. I see Lenny have more than 4 fights when he's nutted someone and booted them and everything. So, and that was when Lenny was big. That was when Lenny was like, 21 stone, 20 stone? When he was on the roids, when he was a lump. I mean, when that film Box On was on, and he was talking to the guy who'd done the actual film, and he was talking to, I think Lenny was about, 16 and a half, 17 stone, maybe not as much as that. That's when I first met Lenny McLean. You know, and listen, I was like right involved in it, you know what I mean? And Roy Shaw and Donny Adams, I was right involved in it. I was like, I wanted to know all about this unlicensed fighting, watching the fights, going to the fights, seeing how it was so different to what I was doing as an amateur, training with the professionals and all that. It was so different, you know. I just wanted to see how it was, yeah. And then I see Cliff Fields, Ronnie Redrupt, and the Colombo, and Danny Chippendales, and all these people, and Lloyd Wolfram, and I just see all these people fighting, and I thought, yeah, man, this is what I want, you know. I want this, you know. Even though when I fought Brian Hall, I'd already had 2 fights. I'd already knocked people out that I had 2 fights with anyway, but even look at me, when I had my own boxing shows in Acton Town Hall, when Connie Cracknell, Market Porter, a very, very hard Market Porter that I worked with, and I learnt a lot from, he tried to knock me out. He came very close. I mean, he hit me with a right hand, and you can see on the picture of that, he shook me up. Yeah, he did shake me up from my ankles. He hit me on the chin, it went straight down to my ankles, and it really shook me up. Yeah, and then I had to nut him all around the ring to stop the fight. You know, that's what we did. That's what we've done, and I think everybody done the same thing. When you thought you was going to get beat, you know, you did that. You know what I mean? And I did it. You know, I thought Colin was a better person at that time. Really did, yeah. You know, he taught me a lot, but he held a lot back. You know. And and then when Jimmy Tibbett really got hold of me as such, and we was going to all these fights, and he was telling me that, you know, look, we can go right to the top of the way, you know what I mean? You can bang, you know, you know, look at, I mean, when he fought Brian Hall, you know, you should have knocked him out, but, you know, you didn't realise the power, the strength. I said, I've always realised I've got a punch. Always realised I've got my power and my strength, but I didn't let it go. You know, Brian Hall, mate. I think he's still alive, Brian. Good fight. I think he's fought everybody there is to fight, Brian Hall. I'm not quite sure he's fought Cliff Fields. He's fought loads. I should think Brian Hall, Colombo, Danny Chippendale, Lloyd Wolfram, and all them ones have had maybe same amount of fights, 50 fights, 60 fights. Yeah, I mean, they've had lots of fights. I mean, they was every weekend fighting, you know, fights. I mean, you know, we got to remember that in our times, fighting was just a phone call, was a shout in the dressing room. I remember when a lot of people have said this, but I remember when Frankie Warren come down to the gym beg your pardon, come down to the dressing room when we was doing box on, and he come in to see Cliff Fields and Ronnie Redrops. He come in to talk to them, and he'd already had a bit of a barney, Cliff Fields, with Lenny when he just tripped him over, just pushed him like a rag doll, just knocked him over as if it was nothing. But when Frank Warren come into the dressing room to talk to Cliff Fields and all about the monies and bits and pieces, Lenny was shouting at Cliff, and I remember Frank saying to Lenny, why don't you stop bullying people? Why you got to bully? Why you got to be a bully? And then Cliff started, listen, I've just showed him, he ain't no bully. He ain't no bully. And listen, I never really see Lenny bully anybody. I've got to be truthful with you. I've never really seen it, only like, shouting and screaming, not actually bullying them as like getting hold of them around the throat and strangling, that sort of thing, just chucking them aside, as he could do. I mean, right at the very end, Lenny became an handful, didn't he? He was like 20 stone, and he was massive. He was like a ball, you know what I mean? And that's more or less where he got his name from, Lenny. I mean, that's when his name started, when he got really big on the voids, And when I wanted to be like then. I wanted to be the same. I got on the voids. I got really, really big. I was having a lot of fights. On them voids, man, it's crazy. You just become an animal. You become a gorilla, mate. You don't care. You just don't smash people to pieces on the voids, you know what I mean? And it is dangerous. It is dangerous, And Lenny was on the voids bad. The only thing with the voids, you can't breathe. It's very hard to get oxygen with steroids, testosterone and them sort of thing, because it goes around your heart, yeah? Because your heart's a muscle, and it clings around the heart, and it makes it, and it's that then the muscle is very hard to work, yeah? You've got double hard to work to pump the blood around your body because of the muscle that the steroids are put around your heart, People forget that the heart is a muscle. So you've got to really, you've got to train every day. When you're on the voids, you've got to punish yourself, yeah? You've got to really punish yourself. If you're into boxing, weights on the voids is easy. Weights on the voids is easy. It's not hard at all. That's, it's easy. I believe that Lenny died of cancer, yes, but I also think that the voids didn't help him out one bit. It's a shame, it's a real shame. Lenny was a proper man, mate. Lenny was a proper man. I've got big respect for Len. Big respect. There's a lot, he was who he was, and he's never gonna, you can't never take that away from him, you know what I mean? He was a legend, mate, big legend. Everybody looked up to him. They wanted to be like Lenny. They wanted to be like him. You know what I mean? I for one wanted to be the limelight. Everybody talk about me, but it wasn't like that. Lenny and Roy took over with Donny Adams, didn't it? And then Cliff Fields come along with Johnny Waldron. I'm surprised. I must have been put away. I must have gone away again. I know when I went away about 83, 84. Was it maybe before that even? Come out in 79, 78, 79, maybe 82, 83, about 83, 84, went back again for a big sentence, mate. For a big sentence, and maybe that's why I never got to fight Cliff, Lenny, Johnny Waldron. Johnny Waldron's still alive today. I love someone could get him on a podcast. Matt Legg is excellent at talking to people. He's excellent at finding people. I don't know why he doesn't go and see Johnny Waldron. Johnny Waldron is it's not, it's no point just doing a video. Go and see him. Go and see Johnny Waldron, mate. he's someone, you know, that is kept quiet. No one knows too much about him. Only that he beat everybody, really. I don't think he fought Cliff Fields, but he beat everybody else, mate. He fought everybody else, and you know, and to beat Lenny twice, and Lenny was big then, you know, it's a feat. Yeah, it's a feat. You know, and everyone's just kept him quiet, mate. You know, I mean, I think Matt Legg has done a little thing about Johnny Waldron, you know, but as a video or as a podcast. But I believe you should go and see him, sit down and talk to him, you know. Sit down and talk to him. No, I'm not quite sure where he comes from, whatever he comes from, Johnny Waldron. But sit down and talk to him. I mean, I want to sit down and talk to Kevin Paddock. I was going to go down today to Southampton. My mate's gone down today to Southampton. But I've got things to do, very important things to do. I've got to take some pictures and films that I want to put in my book, yeah? And so I've got to go out and take some pictures, yeah? I keep saying, but next week, I'm definitely going to get up in the morning early. I'm going to get a train. I'm going to get a train to Acton and places that I've done on robberies, yeah? Other places, obviously places that I've done and been arrested for and put away in prison for. You know, Paddington, I got Paddington and Chepstow Place over that one, you know, and get where I got nicked for that one, where I hit the police officer. When you're my age now, you know, you think to yourself, wow, man, why? Why did you do all that, you know what I mean? It's like to go in prison for a long time, you know, and you go in prison and you haven't got no money, mate. And you just gone in prison for a long time, you know, and you think to yourself, wow, this ain't worth it, man. And then when you get in there, the only thing prison done for me, I think, is I've got to meet more people. I've got to meet more people like myself. I've got to train every day of the week, as much as I like, really. I also become a gym orderly. I run the gym. You know, I mean, there's things that I did in there that I wouldn't have done outside. You know what I mean? The only thing that I thought was a bit funny for me was when I was given the IPP. I was very, how can I say? I was very, very dyslexic. The IPP frightened the life out of me, mate. Psychology, the psychologists and the psychology that I'd done, it frightened me, you know, being dyslexic and trying to get into it, you know, but eventually I did. And eventually when I come out of prison, I realised, crikey, man, if only I'd done this, if only I'd done that, maybe I would never have gone in prison, you know, and it's true, Some of the things you do, if you had skills from psychology, like I got when I come out of the IPP, you know, you got skills, they give you skills to use, and I've used them. Sometimes I'm a little bit silly, doing things maybe that upset people, that, you know, but, you know, we all do that in our life, we all upset people, but we don't mean no harm in it, we don't mean to hurt people. It's just things we do. People on podcasts, people on videos that do all these videos and podcasts, we're all the same. We all say things and upset people, but not deliberately. It's what we do. It's what happens, you know. It comes out, people go, oh, you shouldn't have said that. Oh, you shouldn't have said this. But it's too late. You said it, you know what I mean? You said it, you know. I'm not sad. I'm not sad that I'm not, again, not sad. Let's put it this way. Let's put it different. Did I ever got any regrets about being put in prison? Everyone's the same. I mean, on YouTube, you talk to everybody on YouTube and listen to what they got to say about have they got any regrets? And they say, yeah, I've got regrets. I wish I hadn't have done this. I wish, you know, I would never, this, that, and a bit. To tell the truth, yeah, none of them got regrets about what they did at that time. Because if they had regrets about doing things at that time, they wouldn't have done it. You know, we wouldn't have done it. I mean, like me, armed robberies, bashing up police officers, rifles, guns, and all those sort of things, you know. Working with this, working with that, doing this, doing that, being an enforcer, or other things, you know. And people say, "Whoa," you know. You can't say, "Oh yeah," or "Fucking hell, man, I wish I never did that," you know. But you did it. You did it, and if you thought it was wrong, you would never have done it again. So, but you did. You know, that's why. You know, when I done Lad Bible with Chrissy Lambiano. And they asked us, have we got any regrets? And Chris said, yes, he's got this regret, that regret, because this, that and the other. And I said, no, I haven't got no regrets. But what I did, I've got regrets now for what I've lost. I've lost everything. You know, you lost your kids, your wife, your mother, you lose your dad, you lose everything, jobs, everything. That's when you got regrets, right at the very end of it all, not halfway through it. Because if you had regrets halfway through it, you wouldn't even do it. You'd stop there and then. You'd become different, you know. I mean, yes, of course. I wish that I had them skills to stop me then. I never did. I never used anything. But yes, I'm going to go for it. Yes, I'm going to do it. Yes, no one's going to stop me. But now I've got the skills that I don't do anything. All I do is maybe a podcast video, maybe go to the gym, train a couple of hours, hour and a half, 2 hours, come back, cook something to eat, go for a walk, meet people, talk about another podcast, talk about another video that I might do. You know, there's a girl, Victoria, yeah. I'm going to do a podcast with her, with her, yeah. She's got a fantastic story, mate. You know, fantastic story. It'll knock your point out. It's really good. I've asked her to come over. I'm going to try and get her over today, if possible, maybe tomorrow. She speaks really, really good English. I'm not quite sure where she comes from. She comes from, where is it? Not Nigeria, Bawani, I don't know where. Anyway, she comes from one of them countries, yeah. But she's got such a good story, and I'm going to get her on maybe tomorrow. I'd like to get her on today, really, to chat to her, you know. And she wouldn't hold nothing back. And she would never, ever hold anything back. Yeah, she's just good at what she does, or what she did do, or what she's still doing today. You know, she's an escort, and she's earning a fortune doing it. And she's got stories, mate, that are frightened life out of you. You know, the way she was treated as a kid, this, that, and the other, and what made her get into this. And also, you know, I want to ask people out there, yeah, their comments on this, yeah. I had a bit of a talk the other day with a few people about being sexually abused and molested as a kid, like I was, yeah. So it also happened in homes where I was, yeah. So I'm thinking, what I'm saying, that changed the person that I am, and it made me the person that I am today. It made me a violent person and all this, the other. And would I have gone, if I hadn't been sexually abused, would I have gone on the road of my brothers and sisters, that road about them being proper people, getting proper jobs, electrical engineer, looking after horses, teacher, police officers and all them sort of things, and chefs and all that, would I have gone down that road? My friend said no. You lived in Acton, in West London. You got involved with this. Yeah, but I said, I wouldn't have done that if I hadn't been sexually abused, surely, would I? Yeah, but I think that was in you, way. That was carved in stone. that was, you know, in stone that you was going to be the person you are. And me going down to the Anchor in Bollabridge Road, Acton, and being involved with all them people in there would made you the person that you are. Because everybody in the Anchor, Bollabridge Road, you know, not, it was called Nolder's years ago, there was all dangerous villains and dangerous gangsters. An outsider could not walk in there without getting plunged, without getting stabbed, shot, or whatever, or battered to death, really. I mean, I've seen people go in there. I mean, I was a kid, 16, 17, and got involved with the big punch-ups in there with people, you know. I don't really pick up things and hit people with glasses and bottles and all them sort of. I'm not really into that. I've done it once, maybe I've done it twice. I'm not really into that sort of thing. I'm into my fists. As far as I'm concerned, they're my weapons. You know, I've trained to use them. Why not use them? Why have to use something else? If you train to punch people and use them as a weapon, so why do you want to use a gun? Or even though I'm a bit of a hypocrite, because I've gone on bits of work with guns and shotguns, you know, and maybe let them go, you know, but not as hurting anybody, just as a threat. But I suppose in a way that's just as bad, you know what I mean? But you know, but personally, myself, I think that me being, as a child, being sexually abused as a kid, then going somewhere else and being sexually abused as a kid, changed me as the person. When I come back from all that, I become very quiet. When I say quiet, didn't really say anything to anyone, but go mad at school, fight. Then I stopped fighting. When I went to Big Priory, when I went to John Perrin, my brother and sisters there, then we stopped fighting, then we stopped getting the cane from Mr. Woolley, Mr. Maunders, Mr. Hatfield, all giving me the cane. Always remember their names, because they're the ones that used to give me the cane. I don't remember anybody at Twyford, because I never went to Twyford. I never went to the school. I couldn't stand the school. All I wanted to do was get out of the school and earn money. I met my mate, Leslie McIntyre, welterweight, me and him turned pro. Well, I didn't turn pro, he turned pro, but I was on the verge of turning pro. He went with Georgie Francis in the Wellington Highgate, and I was at Noble Art, Haverstock Hill, and then moved to the Wellington. I trained up there with Joe Devitt. Was it Joey Devitt? I think Joe Devitt. You know, and everybody loved me, and they come to my house for me to turn pro. And what did I do? I ruined it. Georgie Francis, Mickey Duff, I think it was Harry Levitt, I'm not quite sure, but I noticed 3 or 4 people come to my house for me to turn pro. I wasn't interested, I was more interested in girls and so forth. Therefore, I lost that opportunity to better my life. You know, and you got people like John L. Gardner, who I think became British and European champion. John, I was in the same. Well, John was open class. John was good fighter. He had, I mean, John L. Gardner, he had everybody helping him. Sponsorships were, he might have had 5, 6 people sponsoring him. Didn't go to work. All he did was train. And the hardest thing about boxing as an amateur, even as a professional, if you're not that good at that time, you've got to go to work. You've got to get money to survive. So if you're not being sponsored, if these people think you're not good enough, they won't sponsor you. And they didn't think that I was that good because they never sponsored me. I know I had no one sponsor me, but John L. Gardner did. As I say, he had, you know, and he went forward. And, you know, I remember talking to Billy Aird, to sit down and talk, Bill, as you come out the shower and you've had your massage and bits and pieces, we'd be sitting down in the dressing room talking. And Billy Aird was such a nice guy to talk to. He was a gentleman. He had the lily putt in Bermondsey, but he was a nice fella to talk to about boxing, telling you about this, telling you about that, saying that you can bang, you know, but learn more, you know. I mean, when you're in there, when you go to these pro gyms, you're in there for 2 hours. you're in there for 2 hours, you know, because when a pro goes to fight or goes to train, he's shadowboxing 4 rounds, 5 rounds. Then might spar 6, 7 rounds, then go in the bag for 3 or 4 rounds, and then go on the pads, and then floor workout, and then stretching. I mean, it all takes time. You know, 3 hours is normal for a pro, a good pro, yeah. And you know, me and my mate Leslie, when Leslie he turned with the Wellington Highgate, and he wanted me to turn with him, as I say, to come and see me. Me and him used to run. We used to run miles. We used to run miles, man. I used to run to his house. We used to go around the Scrubs Common. He used to run to my house. We used to go around Gumtree Park. We had logs that we hid. These half logs, not thick ones, you know, about that sort of size. Put them on the shoulder, do twists, go down, knee jumps, leg jumps, star jumps, all sorts of things with this on your back. And then press ups, you know, run 100 yards with this on your back, take it off, then sprint back, then walk back, put it on. We used to do so much, you know. And then all of a sudden one day we went, there's no money in this, mate. And we went robbing people, robbing things, robbing people. Crazy. And then left the boxing. Didn't get involved in it, had a fight here and there, didn't really, it's ain't for me anyway, I ain't getting no money out of it, even though I liked my boxing, and I used to fight all the time. Do you know what, as a kid, 15, 16, 14, I used to knock big men out. You know, bouncers on doors. I used to knock them out, mate. And just something I was gifted, a punch. They give me that as a gift, yeah. And I never used it for my advantage. I used it for my advantage, but not for my advantage in the boxing ring. I used it outside the ring, which I was a fool, you know, an idiot, you know. But it's a bit late now in our age, and then you think, what did I do? You know what I mean? And this is why I should imagine 99.9% of guys that do, even the women that do these videos and podcasts, yeah, are trying to let people see what happens at the end of it. Because we all got big stories about what we did, but we're all sitting with nothing. I think one of the best ones I've seen, who's put his mind together, his mindset together, and got it all going, is Terry Ellis. He's on the knife crime. Not that I feel that the knife crime is going to work, what he's up to do, but he's on it, yeah. He's got his scoff mules. I think everybody who's listening to me should try these scoff mules that Terry Ellis is on. Terry Ellis, I know him personally, a nice guy, big, powerful man. Just put his nut down and got involved in business, proper business, instead of going back in prison. Got a beautiful wife and all that, yeah. Why does he want to go back in prison? Yeah, mate, come on, that's what I'm saying. It's a nice thing to see people like that. You know, there isn't many of us, mate. There isn't many of us. Most of us regret. Now we regret. I mean, they regret then, but they still went on doing it. I regretted it right at the very end of it. I regretted it at the very end of this IPP. I regretted so much of what I did and what I'd done. You know what I mean? Because, come on, it's a 99 years, and there's still people in prison now who've done 20 years. We've got 2.5 years IPP. I've done 20 years of it. You know what? I was lucky that I got my IPP at the beginning. I was lucky because I had chances to do the courses. I had chances to talk to the psychology. I didn't have to go to different prisons to do a course, which I was lucky. I could do it all in a mount, and I did. Even though it took me quite a long time to get out after finishing the courses, I still got out after finishing the courses. But there's people in there. The trouble is, a lot of these people in there are a lot younger than me and my mate Fish. So if you still got that mindset that you want to be a gangster and you want to be a villain, they ain't going to do the courses. They ain't going to do them. Nah, I ain't doing courses. What? Me do a course? I'm trying big time Charlie Potatoes. I ain't got to do a course. Now, 20 years down the line, you want to get to do the courses, but there's so many people on the IPBs wanting to do them that you've got to wait maybe 10 years. And this is what happens. This is what happens. I see a lot of people on these videos and these podcasts talking about their boyfriends, talking about their husbands, their sons, their daughters, and all that have got IPPs that are still in after 10, 15, 20 years. It's because they ain't done their psychology. Listen, I'm as silly as they come. I done something yesterday. I put on a podcast something about which I shouldn't have said, and I thought to myself, what have I done it for? So I took it down. I took it down because I thought, why? Why did I even say that? But, you know, as long as you realise at the end that these things you do are silly, but try and remember them at the beginning, yeah? At the beginning, because it's the beginning that stops you getting put in prison after. You know, we've all got big regrets, mate, of what we do, yeah? Big regrets. I've got myself a gym. I've got everything in the gym I can possibly want. I'm in there by myself. I train by myself. Anybody in the Harefield area that wants to train, I don't know, £30 an hour, something like that, or £30 a day, or whatever it is, come let me know and train. I'll train you. You can use the gym. Do you know what I mean? And it's a good gym, believe me. You know what I mean? Rather than sitting about doing nothing, come up and get yourself fit. I'd love to have Ben Hatchett. He's good. Listen, Ben Hatchett has got a big heart, yeah. His heart's in the right place, but he can't fight. That's the only problem. He can't fight, you know, and it's very hard. But as I say, when we all start boxing, we become raw novices. And we learn. We learn to move, you learn to do this, you learn to do that, punch correctly, balances, this, that, and you learn, yeah? And then you start having your fights, intermediate, open clock, and all that sort of thing, do you know what I mean? So, come on, it's like Ben, as Ben said, he's never been in the ring, he's never boxed, and yet he's going to jump in and have bare knuckle fights. You've got to train for that, mate. Ben, you've got to train after that, bruv. You know what I mean? It's not just a point of getting in the ring and throwing punches. Sometimes you can throw in a lucky punch and hit someone on the chin and knock them out in a couple of seconds. But sometimes you can keep throwing punches and you don't hit them and you end up get knocked out yourself and you may probably get hurt. You know, especially bare knuckle fights, you're going to get really hurt. You know what I mean? Someone can hit you, mate, and miss and just take your nose off your head. Not take it off your head, but bend it, buckle your nose right up, you know what I mean? And smash all your mouth up, mate. You say all your teeth done. You get the right person in there, it can really bang. And hit you in the mouth, and knock all your teeth out. Even though you got a gum shield, it's still knock all them teeth out because them teeth ain't in properly, don't remember that. They're not in properly, they're screwed into the gum. Do you know what I mean? They're not like boom. So, you know, be careful, you know what I mean? Anyway, but just bang, all just a little video, and good morning. Yeah, take care. Nice one.